Richard Simon Kahn of Golden Sun Astrology with you here, and I'm going to talk about some of the things coming up for us in February. Before I do, I think there's some energy flowing in. This has been an extraordinary new year, and I think we have only seen the tip of the iceberg. So strap on your seatbelts, folks. There is more to come. So I think the energy that really came into manifestation in a powerful way for us at the beginning of this month, or at the end of January, was the Women's March on Saturday, January 21st, and the energy of that was really so tremendous. Those of you who attended know what I'm talking about, and those who didn't can see some of the effects going on around. But that was a beautiful merging. Astrologically, Mars was in Pisces, Chiron was in Pisces, Venus was in Pisces. They were all within a few degrees of each other. And in Pisces, there is this energy of oneness. There's this awareness of the unity of life and of the sacredness, the sacred, the divine, that inspires life and that gives life value and meaning. And so this energy was very strong. Mars, in particular, being in with these planets. Chiron, of course, has been going through Pisces for a long time, a number of years, and awakening our compassion, awakening us to be more aware of the suffering that exists in the world and of our how we may relieve it, how we can step up and help heal the wounds that we may be experiencing, that others are experiencing, and that the earth itself is experiencing. And so that has been the energy of Chiron in Pisces, and that will continue for several years. And with Venus and Mars coming in, though, we have this this energy of Venus, which I think is so symbolic of the Women's March. Venus is the symbol of the feminine. It's the symbol of the goddess as such, and so this joined with this energy of compassion. And then Mars is the planet of action. Its urge is taking action, and in Pisces, it's taking gentle action. It's taking action that moves from within, that is driven by the heart, and that's also one of the things that being all these planets being together, and so that energy was definitely present and propelling the people of the day and the events of the day, and awakening that with so many people coming together and feeling that energy and sharing in that energy together. And that, I think, was a historic awakening. That the march was called the historic for being the largest peaceful protest ever in U.S. history. Actually, the largest protest ever, peaceful or not. But it was peaceful. It was peaceful partly because of this energy of Pisces was in there to anchor this and to help us to rechannel our energies. And with Mars there too, there's certainly a lot of people were motivated by their disgust, shall we say, with the new president, and this provided a very positive channel for channeling that anger, for channeling the resentment, and for speaking out and for taking action. So this was very beautiful, the way that this came together, and also I think very significant in the story of America, because this is part of a whole growth cycle that's going on right now, that America is in a rebirthing period, and this started most significantly last fall in October and November, when Pluto, transiting Pluto, the planet of transformation, the planet of death and rebirth, crossed into the second house of the United States birth chart and is on its way to making a return for the first time in the history of the country. Pluto is making a return to its natal position, but that'll be a couple of years from now. But still, crossing over into the house where Pluto resides in the U.S. chart is signaling that we are up for big transformation, big time transformation. And so this awakening of the people and the voice of the people, of over 3.5 million, estimated 3.5 million or more people participating in these marches and standing up for human rights and women's rights and the rights of the LGBTQ community and for immigrants, for people of color, for everything. That this is what this country was founded on, and we have gotten away from some of those principles. And so these energies are working to help awaken us and show us how to reclaim democracy, a real democracy that is government by the people, for the people, and of the people. So it's very exciting, and I felt like this was really the rebirth of democracy in America. That's what was going on. So a real demonstration of the power of the people and the power of love being expressed in a positive way, not in a soft way necessarily, not in a passive way, but yet in a way that's very strong and that shows a certain solidarity and humanity. So that's the energy we have moving into February, and it's very interesting that right off the bat, before we even get out of January, first we have a new moon coming up on January 28th, a new moon in Aquarius, and this is very timely. That the new moon is a time for setting new intentions. It's for planting the seeds, and in the sign of Aquarius, we're talking about the seeds of universal brotherhood and sisterhood, the awareness of our connection with others and what we can do to reform and to improve life for ourselves and for our fellow beings. And so Aquarius brings up the principles of truth and honesty and divine laws, divine principles which supersede the human and remind us that there are, in fact, higher laws, there are higher principles, and that part of our role here is being spiritual beings, having a human experience, is to tap into those principles and bring them into expression here on Earth as much as we can. So we've got that energy going on, and the moon kind of bringing this into a focus and awakening that more. So we're going to see things happening there. And then on, Sunday, first on Sunday, January 29th, we have Mars, which has been in Pisces for the last 5 weeks or so. Mars is shifting out of Pisces and moving into the fire sign Aries. And so this is going to shift the energy significantly. We are going to feel a little less patient. The things, when our buttons get pushed, we're going to want to respond immediately. And so this will be a time to really look at how to channel your anger, how to channel when you see injustice going on. How do you take action? This is a time. This is part of what this new moon is calling for, is to anchor ourselves in the principles of action and the principles of right action, so that we can produce positive results. And then with this Mars moving into Aries, we're going to have the energy to express ourselves, and so to make sure that we do that in ways that are going to be positive and constructive, and yet let that fire get out there. Let it be known. Contact people, speak up, stand up, Call your congressional representatives, call your senators if you're getting triggered by what the Donald is doing. Let them know they have to take action. This is just this is an amazing time, and I get the feeling that right now I'm recording this in the first week of Trump's time in office, and I'm getting the feeling that like people, the Congress, the Senate, and even the press are just sort of in shell shock because this guy's just coming in and running things like it's his company. And the structure of the United States and the operation of the United States, there is a structure and an order to it, and legal processes. And I don't think he's really fully aware of that. So I would say that if your buttons are getting pushed, let your representatives know, make your voice heard, post stuff and share stuff, and join with others, and this is a good way of channeling that energy. So Mars is going into Aries. It's going to be in Aries throughout the whole month of February, and so you can expect yourself to feel a little bit more energized, depending on where Aries falls in your own birth chart. You're going to feel like taking more action. You may be more impulsive. You may find your temper is a little bit more hair trigger, and so just be aware of that, especially in Los Angeles. If you live in LA, be careful driving around. You don't want to lose your temper while you're driving. Not a good idea. Channel that energy. So Mars is going to be in Aries throughout the month of February, and prompting us to action, and all the way through until the second week in March. So we've got some time here that Mars energy is also going to motivate us, I think, to take action and to not just observe what's going on, but to see how we can actually contribute something and move things forward. And then right on the heels of Mars going into Aries on Sunday, January 29th, we have Venus going into Aries on Saturday, February 4th. Yes, the goddess is moving into the fire sign Aries. And so if any of you who may have felt that the Women's March was a little over the top and that things were being said that seemed too outspoken, hold on, because I think there's going to be a lot more coming. That the goddess is taking on the fire. The goddess is standing up and putting on her armor and getting ready to really show that if the fight is necessary, then she's going to be there to make things happen and to support the awareness of expressing and honoring life and honoring the life processes, and honoring humanity and honoring the planet. And so this is some of the energy that's going to be coming out, and this is going to be, I think February is going to be kind of a wild month, quite frankly, with Mars in Aries and then Venus in Aries. We've got a lot of fiery energy there. And the sun is in Aquarius. The sun is in the air sign Aquarius, and so it's very broad based. It's very concerned about justice, social justice, and equality. And with Mars and Venus in these fire signs, it's like things have to be done. We aren't just going to be talking about stuff. Action needs to be taken. And so this is be prepared to see how you can apply yourself. That's what I think is part of the message. And how to apply yourself with love, again, to bring in the heart quality, to come from your integrity, to come from your heart, and to allow that energy to express through you. The planet Jupiter also, Jupiter has been in the sign Libra, which is opposite Aries and opposite the planet Uranus, which is also in Aries. So we're seeing a lot of unexpected, unusual, unconventional things happening, and especially with regard to the office of the presidency. Uh, and that's also, you know, Trump is going to be affected by this stuff too. He's got Leo on his ascendant, right at the last degrees of Leo, and he's got this fiery approach to things that these fire signs are going to also empower him. He's going to be feeling more entitled than ever. So I think you can expect to see plenty more of his type of behavior. But on the other side of the balance, we've got Jupiter is in Libra. Jupiter has been passing through the sign Libra, which is an air sign and is about balance and harmony. It's about being aware of the quality of our relationships. And Jupiter has been pushing us forward since it went into Libra back in September. And it's been in forward motion and really bringing a lot of things into our field of awareness and experience to look at our relationships and again, particularly on the national level of what's happening here. And so Jupiter, though, on February 6th is going to go into retrograde. It's going to go into retrograde for a couple of months. And so this is kind of like a planetary message of saying, okay, we've moved forward, we've been moving forward, introducing some new things to you folks, and now we're gonna back off a little bit and give you some time to assimilate this and to be able to integrate your experiences and get readjusted so that you are better able to move forward when Jupiter shifts back into direct motion in the beginning of June. So this is a forecast of basically what's going on right now, and I'm trying to keep this video short, but it's hard. There's a lot of detail. If you want to know more, if you want to talk about it, come into the store. I'd be glad to chat with you, or even more so, to make an appointment, and we'll get into your chart and see how all of this is showing up in your chart. So with that in mind, I hope you all have a beautiful month. This is the month of Valentine's Day, and so remember the love. Try to bring in the love however you can. All right? God bless.